Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome everyone. In the last session, we have finished our data preparation part. Yes,
Sending method.
we almost finished that, no? In the last session.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, as per our curriculum for this workshop,
We are
yeah,
up to sending method, sir. We were up to sending method.
where? Okay, I will just see. We were doing that filtering. We have completed, no?
Yes, sir.
Filter we have completed. Then we have to work with the group by, and this all remains. I think that few functions. Okay, I just see where we were and what we have to cover today. Okay. We have worked with this flight data,
Yes, sir. It's flight data.
and filter we have completed, and we have completed up to here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And okay, this speed we have not worked, no? Speed is equal to
No, sir.
5.
We
Okay.
haven't worked.
Okay. So here we have completed chaining method. Uh, I just share my screen. I think I just do one thing. ID video pen. Okay. So I would like to say that we have completed up to here.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And I just run this first again. So I run these libraries both, and then I run this finally. This flights data we were working in the last class, and we have worked up to here. Uh, I was telling you about the nesting method of the select unique carrier departure delay. First we select, then we filter it. I explained this thing to you. The flights is the data, in the select is the deploy function. And we are selecting two column unique carrier and the departure delay. So first we are doing this. Then we are filtering it. We are taking only those observations which are having the departure delay more than 60 minutes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it? So this we have worked. I just show you in a part. I just show you first the select, what we are getting in the select. So you see we are getting in the select this one because we have selected all the rows, 227,496 rows. Now we are filtering those rows which are having departure delay more than 60 minutes. So we have one column of these also where we are going to filter, and this we have taken another column. So I just show you this, run whole, and then I will show you how many observations are there. Now we have only 10,242 observations where the departure delay is more than 60 minutes. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So this is the nesting method, and in the nest, for nesting, sometimes we use the chaining method, which is the completely dplyr method. Here you see we are using the pipe to function, the flights data pipe to. First we are selecting the both column what we have selected earlier. The select function is the same. Okay, but this flights data is not compulsory to write now. We don't have to write these flights here because we have taken the chain from here, flights. The data is already we have mentioned first, so we don't have to write the flights here. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
And then we are again we are chaining it with the departure delay greater than 60 minutes with the filtering. Okay, so this is a chaining method. It is very good method. People prefer this, and this is more understandable. Okay, so this is the same output we are getting here. This we have covered in our last session.
It is like making subset type method.
Yeah, subset type. Yes, both are making that thing, but this is more clear.
More clear. Yes, sir.
It is more clear than this, because here you may sometimes confuse what we have to take first, what function we have to apply later. Okay, inside what we have to write, and then
We
in
always have
filter.
to write filter first. Take filter first.
No, it will not work like that. But the first you select the column, then you filter it. It would be better,
Okay, sir.
because the whatever the power it takes for doing this activity, the space or the space performance speed, what we say. If we go in this way, we'll get the good speed, we'll get the result, because this is a small data, it's not a big data. So here you could select first and then you filter it. Okay, no problem.
Okay,
So
sir.
here also we are selecting first and filtering later. You could filter first and select later, it may be possible, but it has to work for the all the variables first.
Filtering.
Uh, when you filter first, it will work for all variables, 21 variables. Understand? Then you select out of them two.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Here we are selecting only two variables, so we have a small data frame now. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Catch my point, try to. So we have a small data frame, then we are filtering. So it will take less time. What do you say?
This method takes a short time.
Yeah, because we have shortened the data frame, only two variables are there in the data frame. Now you are filtering. If you go in a opposite way, first you filter,
We have
so then you have to filter, you have a data frame of 21 variables.
If we
Understand?
filter first, we have to filter all data, all variables.
Yes. That
That
if
is
you
why
want
we
to
have
filter all, then you could do that thing, no problem.
okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now we see the base array approach to select unique carrier and departure delay column sorted by departure delay. We are also sorting here. Okay, and arranging them in a some order. So flights order uh, by which we are ordering it. Here you see a question. I have taken the R base approach where I am not using any select or the filter function. I am just using the square bracket for mentioning the row and columns. So here I am mentioning the order by the departure delay, and I am taking two columns, the unique carrier and the departure delay. This is for the row. Before comma, we will write about the row. Row we are arranging. Row we are arranging in some order, and
Yes,
this
sir.
column we are selecting. So I run this. So I will get it. It is the before 33 minutes the flight came. Before 23 minutes, it is the departure delay in ascending order. Similarly, we could use the dplyr approach. Here we have flights and select unique carrier of both column. Then you arrange them Okay, got it? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Now, base our approach to create a new variable speed. We have the distance, flight distance, we have the flight's air time, and that air time is miles per minute. So I want miles per hour, and the flight distance divided by time, speed is equal to distance over time, and then I am converting that minute into hour, so I have to divide the time by 60, and I will show you why we are multiplying 60, because just a moment. We know that speed is equal to
Distance by time.
distance by time. Okay, time in minute we have, you know that. So
Yes, sir.
here, speed in mile, no problem. Or distance is mile, sorry, no problem. So distance we are writing whatever the distance, and time we divide by 60 for converting in hour.
Hour.
So what it will go, it is the denominator of denominator, if we go to numerator.
Numerator.
So distance over time
Into 60.
into 60. Got it? So we have multiplied by 60. Got it?
Okay.
So we are using first this our base approach, flights dollar speed. This column will add here. Here are 22 variables. You will see when I run this, we will get 22 variables in the
22
data.
variables.
Yes. So here you see it is a 22nd variable here.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes,
Now
sir.
I want to show you I want to print only 3 variables so you could understand our variable. I don't want to show you the whole 21 variables. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
I just print all observations because I have put comma. Okay, first, and then distance, air time, and speed. This 3 column I want to show you only on the console. So you will see we are getting here this distance, air time, speed. Any
Okay,
doubt?
sir. No,
You
sir.
could view it. You could view it here. You could go here and you will get the speed here also. Okay.
Okay.
The new column would be at the last, and this is our base approach. Now we see the deployer approach. So the flights pipe to select distance, air time, 2 columns, and you know that in the deployer we use a mutate function.
Yes, sir.
So the mutate, we write the new column name, what we are going to create, and how we are going to create. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So this is how we are going to create the distance over air time into 100. Praveen, you are asking something that why do not put the brackets in speed equation? We could put the bracket in speed equation here. Here you want. Correct. We could put it, no problem. We get the same result.
Yes, sir.
Because you know that the BODMAS rule applied everywhere.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So the BODMAS, you see, the division will come first and the multiplication will come later. Okay. So this process will work first. So I have not put that thing bracket because this
Put.
whole formula is as per the BODMAS rule.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I don't need that thing. If you want to put, you could put the bracket over there. Don't worry. And the result would be same. So this is all about some question you were asking, I think that someone. Okay. So I have explained this to you. So how to mutate speed distance over time into 60. So here you see one benefit we have. Here everywhere we have to write the flights, dollar, distance. data name in the R-based approach. But in dplyr, we have first in this chaining method, we just mention the data set name, and then we are piped to, we don't have to write that thing again and again, the data set name. We just write the variable name, okay, or we are getting the output. So it looks nice.
This pipe is like attaching file, yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So it look nice, better than this.
Yes, sir.
It gives us very clear picture what is happening here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So result would be same. Now I am giving one object name to this. I have not given the object name. I am just getting the output in the console when I run this. So if I want to save it like a different separate data frame, so I could write the flights underscore sub or whatever the data frame name you want to write it. This output. So you could save it if you want to save it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You see here we have only flights. If I now run this, I will get flights underscore sub also here. Okay, it would be in my global environment. So there are 20, there are how many variables? 3 variables I have selected.
Yes,
2
sir.
are this. I have selected 2 and third I mutate.
Yes,
So I
sir.
have 3 variables. If I show you, so you will give. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Now, flights dplyr approach, create a table group by destination and then summarize each group by taking the mean of the arrival drive. So there is two things. And when you group by something, there is a summary is compulsory. You have to summarize it, not the summary. You have to summarize. So it's like a apply function. Understand? What we do with the apply function? We group by the category, then we find out the mean. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just show you one thing separate. You know that the empty cast data, everybody is aware about the empty cast data. I
Yes,
just
sir. Yes.
take that again, empty cast, and everybody know the structure, but in spite of this, I will just again mention that structure, every variable is numerical. I just want to show you that. And there are few categorical, like the we could convert them in a discrete form. The cylinder is a very few unique values. So if I use a apply function, okay, and md, and then I put that column wise the margin and then the function.
Mean.
Look at this. So I'm getting the mean of all variables. I'm getting the mean of all variables. So this is the apply function. But the t apply, what we do? Know that in the t apply, what we do? We write the variable, the continuous variable mileage. Okay. And
With respect to other variable.
yeah. So where we have to
State.
write the data also we have to write. No? So we will write the data md dollar mileage and then a categorical variable. I am taking the cylinder. Got it?
Yes.
And then I find out the mean. So I'm getting the mean of all 3 categories of cylinder.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So the same process we are doing with the dplyr. That is the grouping and summarizing. Okay. So I use a data md, and what I want to do here, I will take group by what? Cylinder. Understand? We have cylinder column. And then I summarize. And I summarize the same way as I written here, the average is equal to mean. I could write that the summarize AVG equal to mean. I just run it, see what happened. It's getting the problem with the summarize input average. X is missing. The no default average is mean. Okay, just average. Just I see what's where I am. MD is there. MD is there. There is no problem of MD. Just a moment. Mean of mileage we have to write now. That was the reason. Okay, got it. Got it? Any doubt? We have to use a numerical variable for finding out the mean. So I have not mentioned over there. Yes.
Suppose I am getting like I posted in the chat box that MD I wrote, but it's showing like MD object not found. What does it indicate?
You have not run this thing. Where is that? This I have run. No? You have not run it.
So I ran. Matlab, when I pressed enter, then it came this message like MD object is not found.
You control enter. You are writing on the script. You have to always control enter.
Sir,
Then
yes.
it will run. You
Yes,
have
sir.
did.
Yes, sir.
And then you just write down the MD, or you see the structure of MD, whether it is getting or not.
Okay. No,
What
sir.
you have? Oh, sorry, Sally. There is a reason that
Yes, sir.
your this on the console there is no command prompt is active. Command prompt active you see on the console when you have a greater than sign.
Okay.
So here you have a plus sign. You see you mentioned in the. So you do one thing. You put the cursor on the console.
Yes, sir.
And then you use the escape button.
Okay.
Then you see that this prompt sign arise or not.
Yes, sir. It arose.
So you run it. You will get it.
Okay, sir. Again, it is saying the same.
So this prompt sign is the console. You see.
Yes,
First.
yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
And there is written this thing without any plus marks.
Yes, sir.
You run it again.
Yes, sir. I got. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Sometimes what happens, incomplete syntax we run.
Yeah.
Suppose if I run like this, I remove this, just a moment, and I run it. So what I am getting here in the console, you see.
Okay.
Plus sign.
Yes, sir.
So it is the, if I want to run anything, then what will happen? You will see. I'm getting the error.
Yes, sir.
Because that now it is the command prompt it is giving me.
Okay.
After giving the error, now I could run it. So I correct it. I completed this. Now I run this. I will get this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the group by function. You understand what is group by? How to summarize it?
Yes, sir.
We could take the mean. We could take the sum. That's just like a apply function. Okay. Not a different thing. Okay. So this is a group by function is very, very important for us. Sometimes we get the data on the daily basis, sorry. And we want to convert them and we want to group by them in a monthly basis. Understand? Or the weekly basis. So at that moment, the group by function is very, very important. Okay. So here I am going to explain you this thing again. Dplyr approach, create a table group by destination. We have to group by the destination, which is a categorical variable, and always the group by the variable which is categorical. Got it? And then summarize each group by taking the mean of arrival time. So mean of arrival delay. So I am making new column. In the summarize, you always get a new column. Okay, it's average underscore delay. That is the mean of arrival delay. NA dot RM is equal to true means there may be some NA values. I don't want to use them. I want to exclude them and calculate the mean. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, NA dot RM. NA remove. Because if you have NA values, it will not give the response. It will not calculate the mean, because for the calculation of the mean, all the values should be numeric. Or NA means there is no value. Got it? So I run it. I will show you. You see this, I am getting the mean delay, the ABQ and the AEX and the AGC 4 minutes, 6.8, 4 minute, 26.1 minute. In this way I am getting. Now I want to arrange them in some order also I could arrange. Later on I will tell you. So here for each day of the year, count the total number of flights each day of year. So we have the total observation, you know that 227,496 total observations. But if we count daily basis, then we will get only 365. It is the 2011 year, which is not a leap year. So we get the 365 total entries. Got it? Total observations on the daily basis. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. So we group by it by daily basis. So we have one column for the month and the one column is for the day of month. So we combine them when we group by it. Got it? So that is the month, day of month. So it is the group by this we do. Got it? And then we summarize it. We are just counting here. So for counting, we have to use a function n with brackets. So the flight underscore count is the object name. You could write any object name here. It doesn't mean that you have to always write down the flight underscore count. You could write the flight count. You could write the count, whatever you want. But this must be same. It is for the counting. That as we are using the mean. This is the mean for the mean. This is a function. This is also a function. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So we are counting in, and then we are arranging them in as descending order. In descending order. If you want to arrange in the ascending order, don't write the descending.
Ascending. If you write ascending.
Just write the flight count. Okay, this one. Got it? I run up to here first, and I will show you. I just up to here. I don't want to use the object name. I don't want to take this in my global environment. Okay, got it? So I just run it up to here. You will see. When I run, I am not getting in ascending order or the descending order. 552, 678, 702, 583. There is no order. Got it?
Yes, sir.
It is as per the month one and the day one. And in this way, as per this order, we are getting it. As per the entry we have. Got it? And when I arrange this in descending order, you see what happens. So this is the descending order, the highest one in the 4th of July. No, June, July, 4th of August. The flight count from that airport was 706 departed. And the 11th of August also 706 departed. 12th August also the 706 departed. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So in this way, we are getting this in the descending order. If you want in the ascending order, don't write this descending there. Okay? Only the one bracket you write the flight count only. Any doubt?
No, sir.
So you do it yourself. Try and now rewrite more simply with the tally function. The same thing we are using the tally function. Instead of this summarize and arrange, we are getting only through the one function, that is a tally. So that up to here it is same. And then we are using, instead of summarize and arrange, the tally sort through. So I am getting this same thing. Okay. And We are sorting. Any doubt? So this we could use, but I basically like this one.
Why,
It is
sir?
more because it is more give us a clear picture what we are doing through this function.
Yes,
Here sometimes we may get confused. Okay, anybody could understand easily who knows the R and these all things better understand. Oh, this we have done, then we have done, then we have done this. Okay,
yes, sir. Yes.
it is giving us that clear picture. First we have group by daily basis,
Month,
and
yes,
then we have summarized it, we have counted it, and then we have arranged it. You could use the function other also, but here because we are just counting it, so we don't have any numerical or the numeric variables. Yeah, so we are not taking the mean and anything there. Got it?
Yes, sir.
It is just the counting for the categorical variable, because we have taken these categories as a group by, and then we could not take it. So now the for each, now we see in one more for each destination. So whenever for each we write means the group by destination. Count the total number of flights. First we have to count the total number of flights. So that is this function we write in the summarize. Okay, and number of distinct planes that flew there. So n underscore distinct is a function. Okay, if you want some distinct things. Got it?
This is also a function.
This is a function. So this function we are using for the tail number, because every plane has a different registration number, not a flight number. I am talking about the tail number. Okay, so how many plane arrive at that particular airport? Got it?
Yes,
How
sir.
many different planes come there? This is the destination, this is the flight count and the plane count. This must flight come and depart from that destination, that airport, and this plane generally took depart from there in a whole year. Many times one plane may come. No? Okay, understand? So this is in that way. And next is the for each destination. So the number of cancelled and not cancelled flights. So we have a column cancelled. Okay. So group by destination, select cancelled, and then table. So you see what happening here. I will just show you. This is the cancelled column, 0 and 1. 0 for not cancelled, 1 for cancelled. Okay. So what we are doing here, we are selecting the cancelled column only. Destination, group by destination, select the cancelled column. And we are making a table. Table why we are making? Because there are two categories, 0 and 1. And if I run this, you will see that thing here. It's a very big one. So it will show me all 0 and 1. So I have taken the head here. You know that. Head gives me the top 6 observations, and I could understand what has performed by this syntax. Adding missing grouping values, destination and cancelled. So destination is here, and we have selected the cancelled. So we have two now. So one is when we have created a table, automatically the group by it will take on the row side, and whatever the select it will take on the column side. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes.
That's very important. Where which variable will go where? Okay, which on the row side, which on the column side. So
Group-
what we could
group
take
by
the
group.
column side when we have the categories. Okay, so we have both the categories now. The destination is also a category, and cancelled is also a category. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So we have selected and we have created a table. This sort of table is called the contingency table. Got it? Cross tab, we could say also. Now I will show you the for each month. Calculate the number of flights and change from previous month. So for each month, so we just group by month. Okay, we will get the
Yes,
12
sir.
observation for the 12 months,
Yes, sir.
and then we count it how many each in month, and then change from the previous month. We have we also want then this month how many changes from the last month. So the change new column I mutate. Okay,
Yes,
and
sir.
that is from the flight count of the current month and minus leg flight count of the previous. Leg means the previous one. Understand? Leg is a function for the previous one, for selecting a previous one. So I will just run it, then I will explain you. You could better understand this. Look at this. You will see this is the month, 12 months I have explained you. We will get the 12 observations only for the each
Yes,
month
sir.
one. And here are the flights counts in the each month. Because the from before January, there is no data of the last year, December. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this minus previous, we will get the NA. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And this minus this, we are getting in negative because this one is smaller than this.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So in the month of February, the flights were 1,782 flight less than the month of January. Does that make sense to everyone? In the month of March, there is 19,470. And when we subtract it from the 17128, so we get 2342. So it is greater than the month of February, 2,342 in the month of March. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
You understand the lake function now?
Yes, sir. Previous data.
Previous data, just previous sale. Okay, got it? So
Sir, why is mutate used here?
muted, we are making a new column change. Na? You see, this is the new column change. Change we won't have, we doesn't have in our data frame, change column.
Okay.
So we are making a new column na, for showing that change.
So for making a new column, mutate is used.
Yes.
Okay.
So whenever we make a new column, we use the mutate function. You see, everywhere we have used the mutate for making a new column.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And whenever created the new column, then only we have used that mutate. In the previous year, I will show you. You see here the mutate. The speed we have created, na? New one.
Okay.
New one. Yes.
So that was the mutate. Understand? So whenever to create a new column with the help of old columns, you know, with the help, we are not just creating a very new column. Okay, that is adding a column. That is not a mutation. Mutation is we are helping, we are taking help from our existing column. We are doing some multiplication or some operation, and then we are getting this new column. What it? Mutation.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It's not a total new. So this I have explained you, and where we were. Okay, there is a this function we could use in this way also. We could use the tally. So tally will remove this summarize. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and mutate will change n minus log n. So instead of, because we are not using summarize, so we don't have that flight underscore count column. I run this, you will see what the difference between them. So you see here we are getting the n, here we were getting flight
Flight
count.
count.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
and the thing is same. There is no, in result there will be no change. Is it clear to you? Okay,
Yes. Yes, sir.
and this you already know the structure in the glimpse. I'm not going to explain this. Okay, and some more things I will show you with I have developed messy data, and that data frame, the name is the Wilbur, Petunia, and Georgery, and I have given A and B too. These are the two medicines we have given them, And in this A and B medicines, after giving this treatment, 67, 80 are the heart rate. What it? Heart rate of the patient's Wilbur and Petunia and Jordy. What it? So I just make this data frame. I will show you this data frame. And you see this is my data frame. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now we are using Tidyal library where we use some functions like gather and spread and unite and separate. 4 functions we will study. So first we study about the gather. Okay. So what we are going to do it, we transform the data. It is a transforming process. So Massey, I am gathering it by drug. Okay. So drug is what? And the heart rate and AB. So drug is this. Got it? Whatever the drug, I have to mention here. That is the column name. Okay. So A and B I will include in the drug. So drug A, then in the drug you will get the A and B both. They would not be separate. And heart rate is what? Heart rate is nothing. It's just the value here. We will make another column for these values. So I will just show you, then you could better understand. Oh, why we are not in the gather drug? Maybe Massey gather drug. Tidier I have run or not? I have not run the Tidier. Then I will get it. Nah? Got it? You just understand this data first. Take your own time to see both the tables, what we have done, and the syntax also you read it. And then we are gathering the data. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So this is a way to gather the data. Sometimes we require this sort of transformation. Okay. Suppose you have to perform an ANOVA, or you have like this variables. But ANOVA is, we know that it should be in the one column, the category column should be there. So this drug we want in this way, then you could perform the ANOVA on that drug. Got it? And heart rate. In this data, you could not perform it because you don't have a variable heart rate. Do you have? Okay. So sometimes it's just like a table you are getting. The values are heartbeat, but it's not, it's better. You are getting the value. The Wilbur, if we give the drug A to Wilbur, we get his heart rate was 67, Petunia at 80, and this 64 and 56, and this way we are getting it. I will tell you later on about these all things. Now we have one more thing. Gather and spread. I will take a spread also. Just a moment. I have done it, but I don't know where it always gone. I just do it. Nishita, after this we have a chapter, new chapter, which is the inferential analysis. Okay, there I will show you that all thing. Okay, all sort of tests we will study over there. After this chapter, tomorrow I think we will start that. What I am doing, the key and time and key. Just a moment. Drug. I just write here drug. do here. No? Where I have put it. Okay. Just a moment. I just want to see what is happening. I done it. Should work. Yes, I have prepared it separate. I just see why it is not working. Spread drug. I have taken the drug and first I see that again. I see this messy is like this. Then I convert this. Then again I want to spread together. It is a gather. I want to spread it. So where the error occurred, drug not found, object drug not found. So just a
Sir, you have not saved, sir.
what? Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yes. In the line 493, you have not saved.
Okay, because the pipe to function sometimes we get confusion. Here I am taking this, but here I have not saved. No? Sometimes it happens. I again run this. This is my original, and this I have transformed after gathering. And if I show you again, then I will get it. And then I use it the heart rate here. I am writing everything okay in the syntax. Why it is not working? I was thinking that. So now I will show you this mesh. You will see. Got it? So what I want to say that the opposite of gather is a spread function. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. They both are opposite to each other. We could gather it. We could spread it. So the syntax of spread is that you have to first write the function which is a category you want to spread. We want to spread this A and B. Got it? We have spreaded it, AB, correct?
Yes, sir.
and there what value you want to spread here and them. Okay, so that the heart rate. Got it? So this is a function we are using for the spread and our gather. Now I will tell you some more function, and here I have another data frame. I also name given the same name, Messi. There is a data frame. I am taking the 4 IDs: treatment, sample, repetition control 2 times, and the treatment 2 times each 2, and work.t1 and RUnif for here also. So I just show you, don't go in how I create it, just see what is this. These are the shift T1 and T2 are the shift T1 and T2, or work and home are the location. Does that make sense to everyone? Got it? Now we take we also see this gather and spread here. Here I will explain you some detail this syntax. So new column, I am going to make a key column where I want these all things. Work T1, home T1, work T2, home T2. And this is the time. These are the time, new column I am giving for this time. And I don't want to include in that treatment and ID in this process. It should be just as it is. So I will just show you. I have given that idea name, object name, and I will show you that. Got it? So it has not changed. It will just repeat as these are coming. Does that make sense to everyone? You look at this and try to understand, then I will tell you later on. Take your own time. Okay.
Sir, why is plus written over here? Is it for attaching the two statements or something else?
What?
The plus in the TDR is equal to Messi dollar, then it's in second line it's written plus.
Any plus I have not written. It is the process. I have not written here. It's the process here in the console. When you run the multi-line syntax, then it will mention you there in the
process.
like that. It is not. I
It
have not
breaks
written.
down into simpler formats.
Yes. Got it? Now
Yes.
we spread it. We have gathered. Now we spread it. So we get the same thing again. I just run it. You see? Okay. This. Any doubt? So 2 examples we have seen for the spread and gather. Now we see some more functions which are separate and unite. This is a different function. It works only on the column. We have to divide column in 2 parts. One column, we want to make it two column instead of 1. So that idea data we are taking which one, but we will take this one, not the date one. Okay, this I am taking. I want to separate work and time shift. Got it? I want to separate this key column. 2 part. Got it? So I'm going to separate this key column into what? First would be location and second would be shift. Got it? And the separator would be this dot. By the dot, it will separate. So we could not write the dot only. Whenever you have to use this dot as a separator you want to mention, then double forward, backward slash you have to use before dot. Then only you could use that separator. If you just write down the dot, it will not separate. I just remove it and I run it. Got it? Now I run it. What happened? Nothing is because I have run previously, so it removed remove everything from there. So I just have to again run this. Again, run it. Now I will run it. So you could better understand the thing. Got it? Okay. So location and shift, this is a separate function. It's not a gather or spread. It's a separate. So separate function, whenever we have a dot, if you have some other separator like the hyphen, you just mention the hyphen only. There is no need to require the two backward slash. Understand? Only for the dot, we have to use this backward slash in the separate. Is it clear to all? Now, I will use the unite function, which is opposite of this separate. Okay. So there I am writing a key column name, then location and shift. I want to mix in a key. And in between, I want a separated dot. So here I don't need to write the backward slash when I am joining it. Okay. So I just show you and you will see this step 1. So it's the same as we have previous, like this. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the functions are very important when we prepare the data, and it is the transformation of the data as per your requirement. Transform the data with these 4 functions: spread, unite, separate, okay, and gather. So these 4 function we use. Now I will tell you some more thing. Yes.
We have to install any package.
Tidier.
Idea.
Tidier.
Yes, sir.
I will, this you see here, TIDYR, tidier package you have to install for these 4 functions. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Hello, sir.
yes.
Sir, let's say there are 2 columns.
Yeah.
In column A, there are 2 now numbers or characters. Something like I already put in that chat also.
Yes, yes.
Under A, there are 2 strings. Something like this. There are 2 strings separated by comma. And column B, another 2 character objects separated by comma. So we want to separate these comma separated objects into separate columns. So how can we perform this kind of operation?
You could use only the separator, you write the comma there in the quotes.
Okay. Okay.
I think it will work. Just write the quote comma here. You try it.
Okay.
I think it will work.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
So that tidier function, I installed that library. After that, messy, I am getting an error like can't subset column that don't exist. So what is the issue?
You have run that library,
Yes, sir.
Messi.
Yeah.
You have installed it. Then you have to run it. You have to write the library tidier.
Yeah.
You have done it.
Yes, sir.
And then what it is telling?
So it's saying that error can't subset column that doesn't exist. Column A doesn't exist.
So can have you you have this script?
Yes, sir.
You run it. This one.
Okay.
First you run. This is the data frame we created. Then that is a Messi.
Okay.
This data frame name is Messi.
Yes, sir.
So you run it and then you try.
Okay, sir.
This
Sir,
is your self-made data frame.
Yeah, self-made.
Yes.
sir, like it was showing like drugs not found. Now it's showing that.
What
So
can
in
you
that
copy?
504 line below, yeah, I clicked this one, this ran. After below, I went 491 line, and then I ran it off. And then that new statement, what you added, Nasser, Messi equals to Messi spread function.
This one?
Yeah, below this, yeah, this one.
This
For this,
one.
it's telling object drug not found.
So
So
you put here that there I have written in this way in that script.
yes, sir.
I have not mentioned the object name.
Okay.
So you just mention the object name here again. And assign the object name Messi,
Yes, sir.
an assignment sign. Then you run it. You will
Oh.
get it. That was we were getting also difficulty over that time. No?
Yes, sir.
Because I ran it on the console. I just print it. I have
Okay.
not taken in the global environment.
Yes, sir.
So when we get in the global environment, then we could access that variables, new variables. Getting it now?
Oh, sir. So it's again saying that can't subset column that doesn't exist.
No, you again run this.
Okay.
First run this, then
Yeah.
this, and then you put this Messi
Yeah.
in this way, assign it,
Yes, sir.
and then you run it. I think it will work.
Okay, sir.
And after running it, you see it, what is this? And then you run this spread and you see what happens now. I think it should work. Try it.
Okay, sir. So till 497 Messi it is working, but again in drugs it is like object drug not found.
Can you copy paste your syntax?
Yeah.
What you are running before that?
So I added.
I just reading it. Sally, can you show me the output of this first Messi?
Yes, sir.
Copy paste me.
Yeah.
Okay, this you are getting, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the previous one what we have created.
Yes, sir.
That is the this one.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you run it gather function. Have you run it?
Yes, sir. Sir, I got that output like I am sharing.
You this output you got. Okay. Correct. Correct. But here you mentioned that you are not mentioned the Messi name before this.
Okay, so where?
I will show you.
Yeah.
I just copy paste it.
Yes, sir.
So you will see the whole. That's why I was not. It was not working for me also, no.
Okay, okay, yes, sir.
That's when I was working on that. You see the difference in both.
Okay.
You see, are you getting it?
So where you have copied? On the chat box?
Here I have done. No?
Okay.
Here and the Messi before this Messi gather function.
Yeah.
You have not mentioned that. You see in the chat box. Are you getting some difference?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
No, you have not mentioned the object name, no?
Yes, sir.
So object name, sorry, I have used the opposite symbol. I think that. Okay. You use the reverse one, no? Reverse of this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And I used the because I typed it there. You try it.
Okay, sir.
Just give the object name, then you run it. You will get it.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Somebody else want to ask something? Yes. Okay, let's we continue now. Let's continue.
Yes, sir.
Session.
Yes, sir.
So this unite I have explained you everything we have completed here. Okay. And now we will study about the date time. In every programming language, there is a specific date time pattern. And the universal date time pattern is, I explain you, which is used in
Sir,
a,
is there any book where the data preparation is very much explained in depth manner?
what?
Any book where this data preparation is explained in a better manner?
Okay. I explained in a detail, but you are not getting it properly.
No, your thing is fine. Just to revise anything.
You practice with this little bit, you could better understand this. Okay. You have
Better
to
than any book.
you have to do the run this script and you do take some data and you gather it, try to. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So the what is the universal date time? We have the that is the first is the year, then month, then day,
And day.
and then hour, minute, second, and this way. This is the sequence. Okay, it is a universal sequence. The largest one will come first. Year is a big interval. Month is a smaller than year interval. Day is smaller than month, then hour, then minute, and then second. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is a universal pattern is being used in a world of computer science. So there is a library LubriDate. This library you have to install first. Download means
Lumi data.
LubriDate. LubriDate, DAT, LubriDate library. You have to install it. and we run it. First I run this library. Then you see I have written the date time in this way. Here is the year, month and day. And that is in the one syntax only, one quotes in single quotes. Got it? On there is no separator between year, month and date. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what I will do, whatever the pattern it is the YMD pattern. We know that year, month and day. So I will just write the YMD pattern outside. Okay, whatever the pattern is inside, I will have to write that pattern only outside. And it will automatically convert in a our date time pattern. You will see what output I am getting. This is the R Lubridated library or the other programming language library pattern that we will get the hyphen. Automatically you are getting it. Understand? If I have this pattern, this is the first is the month and second is the day and then year. Okay. Month, 6 month, 4th day and year. I am converting this. So this pattern I have to write the outside only. It will automatically convert in this pattern. You will see. Converted.
Yes, sir.
We have like this the forward slash day, month and year. So DMY. And I run it. I'm getting the same pattern. Finally. So whenever you have a date related data, first run the Lubridated library on that column. Apply that. Okay. Understand? So here some more thing I will explain you. Suppose this is a arrive and this is a leave. So some employee arrive at this time, 4/6/2011,
Sir,
12.
one doubt.
Yes.
What is the class of YMD function? Class of
Date.
date. This will be date. Automatically converted to date.
Okay, I will show you. Just put a object name and see the class. Okay, it's very
Class
easy.
T.
Class T. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes. Date.
That's
Okay.
very easy to see the class. Give the object name and see the class for that object name. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And here I am YMD HMS is here. YMD and this is the HMS. Hour, minute and second. Time zone Pacific Auckland. Auckland is the continent or whatever they are giving in the Pacific. And we run it. And I will show you this. You will see I am getting in this way. Okay. And the leave also I write and I will show you this leave and I'm getting this way. Okay. I want to see the second of arrive. Second is 0. You know that. I just run it. I run it 0. Now I want to change this second. 25 I have written instead of 0. I want to convert this in 25. I run it. Then again I arrive. So it is 25 second now. Got it? And this way I could change the time. And again I do it to 0. You could do it. And working day arrive. So it is the 7th day. 7th day is which one? 7th day. What should be? Yes. 7th day of the week.
Saturday.
Saturday, correct. So I have also written if I write the label true, then it will mention me the Saturday. Got it? Otherwise, it will give me the index of that working day or weekday. Sorry. Okay. Some more thing I would like to explain you. This is the Pacific I have given here, and if I show you, it is the meeting time they have mentioned in the mail, but as per their time zone. Got it? And I am in India and I want to see what would be the time. So I could write that with underscore time zone meeting this object and Asia Calcutta. And here you see it is the 1st July 2011 at 9 in the morning. So I will see it is in the Asia, it's the 1st July 2011, 2:30 Indian Standard Time. Got it? IST. So you could convert in this way. Okay. If you want to convert the data in some other format, you have a data in some other time zone, or when you are doing the analysis, you required in some other time zone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then you convert this. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So few more things. You know that 2011 is not a leap year. Leap year, whenever you divide it by 4, it should be divided.
4 0
No?
2012 is leap year.
So it
16.
is not a leap year, but I am just asking the leap underscore year is a function, and I am putting some year name, year index over there, and I ask 2000 year, so it will respond me true and false. So it is not a leap year. Understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
If I write 12, I will get true.
True.
Okay. So
Yes,
that is
sir.
the thing which I want to show you first thing. And here you see I am writing the YMD 2011 and this all, whatever the format, and plus D years 1. So you will see what will happen. So it is 1/1/2011. So it is 1/1/2012.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if I just write the years 1, the same thing, instead of D years, I am writing the years 1. You will see what is happening. It is also giving the date of
Same result. Yes,
same.
sir.
But if I in the leap year 2012 do the same activity, see
Sir,
what
what
happens.
is UTC? It's some sort of coordination. What I had
Universal time,
coordination.
universal time, something like that. The universal time.
So exactly, you are also not aware.
No, I am aware, but I don't know the full form of it. Sometimes we forget the correct form. So UTC is not.
Well, why is it UTC used? I am not. I am asking that.
Universal time. It is better. Coordinated universal time.
I mean, why is it used? That time varies from different zone to zone. Then why is it used?
It will take always. It will convert in the universal time always. When you are not mentioning that time zone.
Does
So
universal
then
time
default,
mean Greenwich?
in default, what it will take? Universal time coordinated will take. No?
Is it equal to Greenwich Mean Time?
No, I don't have much idea about it.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So here I will show you 2012 we are taking instead of 2011, and I do it and see what happens now. So here you see it is giving you the 31st, not the 1st January 2000. Got it? I just take here 11 so you could better understand. The previously I have taken the 11. I just take the 11 so you could see it better way. I just run it now. So it is okay, 11. So we have work now. Sorry, 12 we have to take. No? We are taking for the leap year. Sorry. Just a moment. So what we are getting? We are getting the 31st 12 2012 in the last day of the year. And if I run this, see what happens now. 1st January 2013, after 1 year. Does that make sense to everyone? What is the difference between these two?
Yes, sir.
It will take 365 days only
Yes, sir.
forward to, but it will take 1 year. The next year of first day.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Understand? So there is a difference
sir.
between both. So years one, if you write, it would be better than day years. Okay. And here I am writing this thing 2029-3 and 1969 11-18. So time difference of 18552. Okay. So it is the time taken. You could take the current date 9/11. And this is my birth date. So I want to see. So I'm getting 18619 days now. Okay. So it is the duration you could see somewhere. So and here there are some more things. You do the practice of this. Okay. And the main thing is that whenever you get the date time, you just run the LibriDate library, and then you whatever the column you have, you suppose you have a column of date like this. You have some column like this. I just a moment. You have some dates in this column. It may be this key is always, I have to send it for the repairing. So we have a date column in somewhere. So what we do, whenever we have a date column, I just giving you one idea. You run the library that LibriDate, and then after running it, what you do, date, and whatever the format there, you write. If suppose there is a YMD, and you just date. Got it?
Yes, sir.
That you do first. So it will automatically set, and whenever you use this date, and it will work properly. I will show you some. Somebody asked me something more. I have done that there or not. I will just show you. Okay.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes.
Sir, you have done right time difference. You have done right.
Yes.
Between the 2 dates.
Yeah.
What if you want by years? You have calculated the time difference by days.
Mhm.
Suppose I have 2 column called date of birth. I want to calculate the age.
Mm-hmm.
So how will you calculate? How I will calculate it, sir?
The manual process we create
Instead
one.
of dates, I want it by years.
The manually I know the how to do it. Suppose I just give my example. There is a today is 9 2020. Write in this way, 9 and 11, and my date of birth is 1969 11 and 18. So you say you see 11 is smaller than 18. So I have to take one from here, and the 9th month is the September. And September, if you see how many days is the September. September is the month of 30 days. Got it? September is the month of 30 days, I think. or not? We have the January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 30 days. So what will happen? 30 will add on here. So we'll get here 41. And we subtract this 18 from 41. So 11 minus 8 is 3. And 3 minus 1 is 2. Got it? And here now we have 8 instead of. So we will take 1 from here. Got it? And when we take 1 from here, we will get the 12 months. So 8 plus 12 is the 20 now. And 20 minus 11 is 9. Or here we
9.
have 2019 finally. So 990. Okay. And here we get the 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. And here 19. So 19.
9 gone.
50 years, 9 months,
9 months,
23
23
days.
days.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
This is the manual process, I know, but I don't know. We could search it and we will get in the Lubridate. I think there should be some option. Okay. There are so many things we could not cover the whole things because there is a huge knowledge or huge material in there. Lubridate.
Yes.
You could search it on the internet and you could get the things with the Lubridate, what we can do more things. I'm just giving you the important one, what we use in the data analytics part mostly. And the further, if you go on to deep, you could search it out. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So this is a way we do it manually. And I will show you the parse date time. So 1/12 Jan. So day, this is the day, this is the year, and this is the B is the, that is our UTC. So I'm getting in this way. And parse that time, if I'm writing in this way. So there are the different techniques we are using. Vector as well we could use also instead of 1. So we take the vector and parse underscore date underscore time. So it is the YMD format. We know that this all. So X and YMD. So in this way, this function you could apply on the whole vector. And I'm just giving the output. You could write Y, whatever the X or whatever you want to assign. Okay. I'm just giving the output. So you will see what output we are getting. We are getting this thing. And the parse that time X percent this we could write also. So you see we are getting in this way. And we have YMD in this way we could also get. We are giving the some space, the same thing we are getting here. Okay. There are sometimes heterogeneous format. Heterogeneous format means we are getting somewhere hyphen, we are not getting anything, but they are all in the YMD format. So these are the YMD. We are telling that. Okay. So YMD format I am taking. And one is the YMD and time is also there, hour minute. So I will just mention that there in the X, what sort of formats are there. You could write here, you could write whatever the format here. So if I run it, so I will get in the same format. Okay. We have a different format, sometimes in a column. They have written in different way. So we could also convert them. Okay. Is it clear to you? It's a very big library, Lubridate. There are so many things. We could go through it, we could run it. And the very important thing I have just mentioned you for the Lubridate, which we use in the time series analysis somewhere, we require this library to run and then we could perform that sort of analysis. That is the simple application I have explained you. So I hope this session we have completed now today, the data preparation. Yes. 533 line, 533 line. I don't have that 530 because I have written something else.
That separate function you were teaching now, EDR separate key into location and shift.
Yes.
So can you please tell that part, because I'm getting error over there.
What happened? First, we have separate the thing,
Yes, sir.
and that is the separated by the dot.
Yeah.
So for the separate function for dot, we have to use a two backward slash before that,
Okay, sir.
and this, and the unite there is no requirement the backward slash. Understand?
Yes,
That is
sir.
the thing. We are getting the same thing again.
Okay.
What we have previous before the I will mention you that I just a moment. I just show you that thing where you are stucking. I know that. You see here. First, I make this meshy.
Yes, sir.
And then what we are doing. We are gathering it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And after gathering, you don't run this.
Okay.
If you are running this separate.
Okay.
Separate, I am applying on this idea.
Okay.
Okay, after gather, because I want to change the name, but I have not changed it. Okay, so I will change next time. So it do some confusion. So you see, when I separate it, so by this dot, it will separate
Okay.
location and shift to new column I want to generate instead of key. So what I am doing, the key and into I am separating location and shift.
Yes,
You know, that separation should be done through the this dot.
yes.
Got it? And if I run this and if I show you now, you see there are two columns, location and shift.
Yes, sir.
Getting it? If you want to unite it again, you could unite it having a unite function and the key column, you are making new column key because there is no key column now.
Yeah.
So we are making new key column with the support of location and shift. These two columns we want to merge, and with the dot we want a separator between work and time shift and dot. Whatever you want, some other you could use the hyphen also.
Okay.
So you will get new one. I will show you. So you are getting the hyphen.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yeah.
So that is the previous function you have to use, na? That okay?
Spread function I don't have to use.
Yes. That is gather. I have we have finished there, and then the separate we are applying on that data frame.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Anything else? Anybody? Yes. So I think we wind up it now. Tomorrow we see the new chapter, inferential analysis, hypothesis testing. We start the theory of that tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.